Hey, bro. How you doing? What are you doing? Where are you typing from? Give me a thumbs up. Need that thumbs up. Oh, good. Very good. All right. What do you want to talk about tonight? I'm actually filming. Let me turn down the music. Wow, it's very low already. I don't know if I can turn it down any farther. There we go. Let's turn it way down. Some Berber myths, huh? Okay, that's very, very low down. What happened? It's just done? I just lost it? What's going on here? Who's doing the Wi-Fi anyways? Oh, okay. Where's the sound? It's just gone? Oh, it must have gone to a low point. I didn't want to do that. Anyways, we can turn it off. And you thought it was coming from your head, huh? Cool. That means that the sound is good. I'm actually filming my computer. I do have 3 screens, but I'm going to reduce it down to 2 screens. And this is the main screen tonight. And if you really want to see what I look like, we can do that for a second. Once I figure out how to turn it around. It's so dumb. Yeah, hi. There we are. Can we just do it? There we go. So there I am. No, I'm not in Mauritania right now. I'm here. I'm right here. I'm in front of my computer back in the undisclosed location. Didn't really want to sit in front. I actually need to set up a set. I need to set up a set. I love that. I have to touch the camera to turn it around. It's like I'm poking you and turning it around. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I got so frustrated with this whole computer setup. So I knew that using the phone would be no problem. I could just use the phone and it would stream, right? But the thing is that of course we got to get some pictures going on and some pictures for you to look at. And I'm testing it out to see how clear it is, because you do know that I'm looking at a screen that I put right on the. I'm sorry, I'm directing my phone directly towards my computer screen. It's not a very professional way to do it, but I don't care anymore. I'm so tired of not being able to do my stream. Zone 51, huh? I think you mean Area 51. Area 51 is in Las Vegas. Yeah, it's a Herodotus map that I like because it shows Atlantis, but there's a couple of problems. Okay, I'm just getting over a cold. I don't know if I can... Yeah, I can mute the microphone. I'll do it next time I have to cough. It's not very good to cough. Yeah, this is the Herodotus map. And the thing about this is a little bit distorted because they want to put Atlas over here, I think. I think that this map is actually quite old. These pillars, are you talking about the second pillars? The old pillars or the new pillars? There's all sorts of pillars people talk about, right? And I don't know. I can talk about a lot of things. I wanted to talk about this Atlantis page on Facebook. I got some messages there. I don't want to check those. It could be anybody. You know, in some of these pictures here, I talked about them on another video the other day. Can you enlarge the whole thing? I think you actually can. See if I can lower this down a little bit so it's, wait. It looks like it's looking up, so I want to rise it up more. Sorry, do I say rise or lift? Okay, so increase the height, and then, there we go. Well, I don't know if that's because actually what I'm seeing now on the screen is not what I'm seeing in real life. I feel like it's still too high. I just want to get it nice, perfect. Yeah, and I can definitely talk about the. I think that's okay. I think that's where we started, to be honest. I might, depending on how what's going on here? Is this turning? Why is it turning? There. There we go. I did put up a few videos that were privatized on my YouTube. You might want to check them out if you haven't seen them yet. Let's try to make this exactly up down. That's not a crater, actually. That's a hill. And we can always go to the place that's here. Let me just show you. You just click right there. Click right there, and then you can go to this place on Google Earth. Hopefully you have an internet connection at least as good as mine. If you look at it carefully, we got to go here to pull it up to show you exactly where it is. It's, if I'm not mistaken, near Peru. It's in Peru, I think. You know, there it is right there. And if you want to look straight down at it, I mean, what I notice about hills like these are the fact that the dirt is such a different color. It just doesn't make sense. This looks like this color is the original floodplain, and then this, people probably think it's a volcano, right? Is that the hole for a volcano? I see two bumps. In fact, I see three. One, two, and three bumps. So this really isn't a volcano unless it was carved by humans. But another thing is it's not black. Volcanic rock is black. I mean, I don't know about it turning brown. I don't know about this color, but to me, something like this looks like. Well, look at this one. Is that a volcano? What are we even looking at here? Again, we've got the same work. We've got the same work done along the shore. That work looks not new, right? Why is it like that? And then we've got some weird stuff going on here. That's is that supposed to be a volcano too? And there's a couple of them. And let's make sure we're north-south, so we're coming from here, right? This is the original mountain. And you're coming straight out from a desert area. It's in Bolivia. It's not in Peru. It's in Bolivia. It's right down here. It's almost in, what's this other, where does the border start for Chile? Looks like it's still Bolivia, or what is this? What I don't understand. I guess that's part of Argentina right there. But it's not in Argentina, but it's close. And then there's Chile right there next to it. So that's the one place, and I just showed this because I thought that I always put things here that I want to visit one more time later, in as long as I have questions. And my question about this is basically the lines going down between these two bulges, and we've got a third bulge over here. And now that I know where it is, I can just go in there, right? Well, that's not it down there, but you certainly do see a lot of weird. That could be volcanic to me. It looks like a volcano. It's black. So this says volcano on it right there. It's got the name of a volcano. This is all very interesting area down here. And then you see these things, and they're called circular dikes. They really don't make sense to me. I've seen a lot of those recently as well. So the place we're talking about is up here, right? Where? Right here? I think we went too far. I think it's right here. San Martin. And the one thing about this is it's got this weird line. I don't know. Maybe it's not so special. Got a couple of things on the top. A little, I assume that's for water. When I see stuff at the top of a hill, I assume it's to hold water. There's another one right here. That one looks like it was holding water. So you got these rectangles or squares up at the top, and kind of hard to see from my picture. Can you see it from here? I can't even see that. Is that even the same hill? That's not the same hill, is it? I have a feeling that's the wrong hill. That's not it, is it? It's another one. I think the one that I was looking at is right there. Alright, there it is. Interesting how these lines go straight down. Is that from water erosion? This one is definitely from water erosion down there. That's the first one. I was just talking more about the so-called chutes. They must have been roads taking stuff up to the mountain. I found some similar weird things changing the mountains. This is actually, if I'm not mistaken, the USA. I've shown that other picture plenty of times. This is in Lesotho. It's 1,000 yards apart. Look at that, 1,000 yards. But the next one that we saw, this place, it's got some really weird mountains. We'll just go right there. I wanted to be there to see it. I want to see where we're at first. Let's go out and see where we are. Okay, that's it. We're in Namibia. In Namibia, you've got a lot of crazy stuff going on. I have no problem believing that this is unnatural. The way these mountains are laid out with all these little ridges on it. And down south of all that are these weird, straight, what look like sand dunes, but they're so straight and so long. They go on forever and ever. And they're very similar to the Kalahari canals that we have been looking at. I mean, when you look at these and say, what was that? You think, oh, it was a sand dune, right? Well, this is like 300 miles long. And for that to, that's not, if it was a sand dune, it's not still a sand dune. These are not sand dunes anymore. I mean, looking at that, it looks like a little sand was caught on top of it, but this ground has got grass growing on it. It's not a dune anymore. And to me, it doesn't look like that's the way a dune gets changed from a dune to a hill. It's just very strange to me. And if you examine these more, you might say they look very similar to the Kalahari canals, which are right here, right? So these megalithic terraforming in an unnatural sense have I mean, enough evidence that I stand by it. Mainstream science might still be having a problem with it. And when you go down into let me see if I can straighten this out. It's always a hassle, right? When you get into Lesotho area, north of that, throughout this on the left side, and then north of it in this whole area, we have all this weird stuff that I can show you with my project. Oh, I wish it wouldn't do that. But I got a lot of yellow lines I worked on, and I just did a bunch more. And I have to be honest, I'd like to share this file with some people so they could keep working on it and give me a different version of it. These lines are definitely, I put them next to them mainly. And look, you can see it always happens. The line goes across the mountain, across the mountain. There's a mountain peak in the middle. And it's not just this one. I can show you the one that I was looking at down here. I don't know the name of it. But if you look at it here, I did a little video on it. And this one, it doesn't go through the middle, but it goes through the front. There's another one right over here that we can look at. Where did I put that? I think it's right in here. I found another one right there. Yeah. Is that it? This one right here, I did a picture of it. And the same thing is the line goes right through the middle of it. Now this thing isn't really a lonely peak. It actually has some mountains that are higher up there, but that was definitely terraformed. The line goes all the way through. In fact, you can kind of see it go a little farther. And there was one more, and I think that was outside of Lesotho, over here somewhere. Have to find that if I can check my new lines. You know, when I see a soul line like that, this one showing the lines. I've showcased this a million times. I called it the smoking gun. And these lines here, let's start to call them something a little bit different from just a line. I mean, are they walls? Are they ridges? But they also accompany these little gutters. Like this sometimes decays or something, and the older land is left over. So it's like a road that decayed, and it turns into a little gutter or a gap. And those gaps and gutters are all over the place. These lines are not just here. I mean, and I've already said it, in my lifetime, I could probably make that. Maybe even by myself if I went out there every day and sculpted it. But what you see here is this symptom or this attribute on both sides. I mean, that's a road. Maybe that's just a road. But it seems like when the mountain goes across, you can see, like here, it turned into a gap. And in this case, it was like, um, okay, well, I'm gonna check the chat. It's over. It's over here. It says, "What? Which are the two there persons that are watching?" Oh yeah, who's watching? I don't know. I've got 3 people watching. I only have one thumbs up. Now I have two because I thumbed myself. Okay, so I just want to keep going through this material because I think it's. Oh, look at that, 3. Nice. Beautiful. Look at that. Now, if you back away, you can see all sorts of lines and even some other stuff that may have gone on here that I can't really comment about, but you can see like a little weird line here and a little bump over here and then down there. I can tell you this is a modern day fence, so I'm not going to freak out about the modern day fences. Although sometimes the tree lines do make some interesting shapes. You can see some other lines going through here, though, and you can see some of these mounds that just I think they were OB dumping. They're overburden dumping. They're dumping something. They're like, well, what can I use this dirt? Where can I put it? Well, you can go across this place because we want to turn this straight, and we can go across here too. But we're gonna leave it a little open because the water will come out there. Oh yeah, and let's go across this whole area here. We're gonna cover up this whole area, make a big mountain. Well, I want to dump my dump truck or whatever they had, whoever they were. And it's like, okay, then dump. Look at this one. That's like a little mound, too. I mean, it's like somebody was terraforming the earth prehistorically, and I still can't find everything to it. I mean, you can privately request I share this with you. I don't know how to do it in a non private way, or I don't even know how to do it. I can present it. I don't know if I can share it. I can export it. So if I have to export it, I don't want to do it right now. But eventually I will. I'd like to get more lines. Look at these two things. See these two plateaus right here with okay, that I didn't really find a line. That's more of a just an interesting. I think there's one line there. So it looks like a triangle. Some of these things are a little stretchy, but trust me, most of the things that I found are legitimate. They're not just some like I'm not trying to question mainstream science or mainstream history. What I'm trying to do is ask what the hell are these two lines about 1,000 feet apart going up into these mountains in Lesotho, and why is there 1, 2, 3, and there's a couple more up here that are attached. I think that 4 right there. There's the one I showed you the big picture, and then Kolonyama. That was the first thing I ever found. Kolonyama, check that out yourself. I don't want to even get into it. I've already talked about that so many times. So that type of terraforming made me go back and say, well, what did we find in the richat structure? What did we find there? Okay, let me get out of here and go back and go here instead. If you visit the richat structure, you might not find a bunch of lines that look like that, but I can show you a couple of important ones. And actually, there's quite a bit because, yeah, I just got back and I had a couple failures. I didn't get to a couple places, so I have to reevaluate the rest of my year. But I did get here. I did a video. I'm going to do a bigger video on this. I'm going to try to turn it a little semi-professional. So I'm taking my time with that. I have been under the weather. I coughed earlier. I'm going to try to mute that. I drove across this one more time and I went over here and got a look at Bayed. But the problem is it's impossible to start just wandering around here to see these. And even from the ground, they just disappear. Now, this would have been the first stop right here. But unfortunately, I couldn't get there. And then I thought we were going to go back and do something different. But after the trip, somebody decided to make it very difficult. Now, I did get some pictures of these rocks from across. I was standing, and I'm going to try to figure out exactly where that is. I think it's right here, or unfortunately, not a very great shot. But I wanted to get these lines. I wanted to try to look straight down these lines, but it just didn't work out for me. And if I want to do it again, apparently I have to take camels to get there. These lines right here are intriguing to me, and people say, oh, that's natural. Okay, I used to say the same thing. But now with what I've shown you, Now, whether or not this is natural, that's a good question because honestly, I don't see why somebody would want to climb up there and do this. But these lines here, I definitely feel like they were carved in the ground, and I can show you a lot of other places. There's no way I was going to get over here where I can show you the same thing. But I want to be honest, the pictures in Google Earth aren't that great, so I'm just going to show you here. And you can go ahead and look in my Was This Atlantis page. But if you go in here on satellites.pro and you zoom in here and you look for yourself on satellites.pro, you'll see the same types of cuts. All right, who's over here? Who do I got? I got 6 thumbs up. That's nice. Oh, I'm not live though. Let me go live so I can see the comments live. Okay, I'm live now. I'm sorry, I'm live now, but I'm talking about over on my other screen. Okay, where were we? Okay, I think it's up here. No? You can see them everywhere, but you gotta, okay, it's right here. You gotta go in, so again, if you zoom out, you can see the richat structure over here. You can see the corner of Western Sahara right kind of south of it. It's like, it's really close. That's actually like 100 miles, you know, if you want to measure it from the corner, which it seems like people are crossing over. That's only 23 miles. Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. I guess what I was talking about is from down by Atar. If you're going to drive from Atar. All right, so where were we? Let me get rid of this and show you what's down there, because it's like an earlier version of the cuts. Now you can barely see it, so stick with me. Now the lines are more prominent in the sand right here. You can see these lines. Okay, that's not very clear. You know, I think I should take that into consideration. This is not very clear. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. If I zoom in, maybe there is that a zoom? That's the zoom right there. Yeah, not very good. So I probably won't get away with doing videos like this very often by showing my thing. And what I should really do is just turn it around and show my face and talk to you. Let me just say though, if you go in here, and let me just remind you how to get here one more time, because it's pretty simple. If you say that's the eye, right? The eye of Osiris, right? And you've got an eyebrow here. It's a major structure. Is that the nose? Okay, well, you have the eye, you have the eyebrow, and you go not to the top of the eyebrow, not to the bottom of the eyebrow, but the middle, and you go about halfway in between that and the Western Sahara. You can go to this little thing here, and this thing shows a lot of cuts that I'd like to take a closer look at, because they look like they're young cuts that have not been eroded, have not been cut. I can show you more of these, but that's not very clear, unfortunately. I wonder if there's any things that I can do to change does that help? I think if I do some other stuff to it, it can show. Oh yeah, there you go. That's exactly what we want, right? Psychedelic dream. Okay, we don't want that crap. So yeah, it's a little bit tough to change the the screen enough. Now, what if I zoom in here? It's terrible, right? Okay, well that's not going to work. So we'll stop doing that, and I'll just let you know that there's some cuts there that are very close that I think I could probably go visit. I didn't get a chance to go this time. The reason why is because I think I would need to just basically get my own truck and drive it around by myself. That's the bottom line. I like that road. Maybe I could take that road. Okay, now again, there's even more up here. If you go to the top of Mauritania, you get to this part of it. It's not in Mauritania that I want to show you. This stuff is crazy. I'd have put these links, but if you go down this slant and go past Mali and Mauritania ends here, and you go past right here. There's this very interesting area, and you can see these two lines here. Everything's going on in here. There's so much stuff going on in here. It's crazy. It's insane. And I've been told that Algeria is a very friendly place to travel, so I might even consider going there myself. Okay, let's get out of here. Who are the 2 persons that are watching? Thank you for all your comments. Let's go back and see what else you said that might be important. I'm near Area 51, maybe. Herodotus map, that, yeah, it's correct. The pillar issue to me is not really an issue, just like Atlantis is not the issue anymore. It's older than Atlantis. Atlantis did this. What I'm looking at here, when we zoom in, we can get real close, and you can see some of the crazy ass cuts that are here. You can see them. It's like they're glowing in satellites.pro. These cuts are amazing, and it's not the only place in Sahara Desert that has strange cuts. You know where I've never visited with Satellites Pro was this one right here. This is a very interesting place. It's the Tibesti Mountains. I guess this is a couple of volcanoes over here. This is a volcano for all I care. I mean, the way that it has this stuff. That's black. That's a volcano. Over here, I don't know. There's some craters, but it seems like all the volcanic material's gone and they're all dead. And there's a big ass crater here, a big one here. I don't know if that's a crater or a volcano. It's very wide. I don't know about volcanoes being that wide. So I think that maybe they were something else. But the thing that I do like to look at is down here. This is that one structure. And when we go in here, it shows it very, very black and dark and defined. And I think that's exciting, when I see that. Because you don't get that from Google Earth. And I'm telling you right now, there's nothing natural about it. Now, these aren't lines, these aren't walls, these are canals. And they go all along this river. They seem to have like a meeting point outside of the river area for a parallel to, a perpendicular line. All these perpendiculars from the river, they don't meet the river. They actually go over to the river through jagged cuts, 45-degree angles. There's a 90-degree one right there. That's a pretty interesting one. It looks like there's this machining of the mountains, or maybe some dirt was brought back. And the reason why I say that is something I saw outside, where it's like they brought the dirt back. You can come out here, you can go over here and find another structure very similar. And they have some kind of a thing going on. I've shown this all before. In fact, what we should do is get back to the Was This Atlantis to look at the other stuff that's in Utah, because that's where I might just go do a little visit. And I found some stuff that's very similar to this in Utah. There's a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of terraforming, a lot of additional mountains added, in my opinion. Over here, you can see these lines here, here, here. All these lines, they look like they were added either before or after that terraforming. You got this mountain here that's created by that line, and it seems like this work didn't cut through that, but it seems like it may have been done later. This stuff here, this stuff here. There's just so much stuff here. It's just amazing, and it's so big. I just can't go visit this. I don't even know if I can get there. I think this is in Niger or Niger. It's best to just go there and find out how they pronounce it, because Niger is definitely a French pronunciation. And this work goes up into the mountains. It doesn't just stop. You get into the mountains and closer to those volcanoes, and you can see all sorts of patterns. Even though it's a little more rough, you can see some lines that are definitely cut perpendicularly to the... But it's older, It's like this older stuff. And I saw something older when I was coming back from my trip. Okay, I found this. Where's this? This is in the United States, if I'm not mistaken. Let's double check. Because, to be honest, I can't remember all these locations myself. Who did I lose? Hey there, Ant. Okay, where is this place? This place is just like that other stuff we saw in the Tibesti Mountains, right? But if we come out, we're going to see we are in the United States. Oh, no. No, that's Namibia. Sorry. That's Namibia. So, the Wabi Game Ranch. That means there's lions and tigers and probably not bears. But that's not something that was created by modern day. And you can see it's a perpendicular line coming away from the river. And then down here, You got perpendicular lines. This is like some kind of a major double cut. I mean, why would there be two rivers so close and parallel together? And then what happens here that empties out into a straight line? Where's the river? So the very interesting work was done there, and you can see some stuff done over here as well. It's just like Tibesti, so it's very close. It's not close, but it's on the same continent. Now, I did find some very similar stuff in Arizona, in Utah that I want to go check out. This was, where was this? This was right here. This is, I think, gosh, I forgot again. Forgot where that was. Now, if you look at this, this is really interesting. Algeria, again, this wall is so straight, right? It seems to be on top of the cut. See, if you look, let's zoom in on this a little bit. If you zoom in, you can see the cuts right here. They're very long. And they go, this wall seems to be younger and placed on top of this surface, which has been cut and not eroded. It just goes on and on. It's amazing stuff, in my opinion. Orange River, what's this? I gotta zoom back out. I hate that. That's so dumb. Okay, so these are those plateaus. Now, I just showed you this one. The Orange River's in Lesotho, and that line goes right across it. I can show you another one, not that. Right here, in this location, since I didn't show you, I want to show you now. It also has what I consider to be a line going right across the middle. Again, just like that other one, right? In this case, it is more visible here. And you see those trees there, and you wonder, are those trees there from a modern-day fence? Because this is a modern-day fence/road going straight up. It drives straight up that mountain. But you've got this other one going straight through, just like the other one. Where is it now? I think this is near Lesotho. Okay, let's get back in there, and we'll face it north. And another thing you've got here is a parallel line action, one here and one there. That's another thing going on. That's not just a fence line. And now you find you're here in Lesotho. So while that one is here, the other one was down there. So they're very close, right? Ancient mounds. Wow, it's not very clear. You know, I gotta probably not do this again. It's okay though. I don't care. I'm gonna talk. Maybe I'll turn this around. You guys need to ask more questions, or I'm gonna end this video sooner because what else was I gonna show you? In the Was This Atlantis page, that was an interesting structure, but that's just a French fort, and that's actually very close to the place I wanted to hear. I think it's right here. That place right here. That French fort. I found it. It's right here. It's right somewhere along here. I think it's right there. It's like right around here. Is that it right there? Something's here. Somebody's house. Oh, look at that rectangle. What's that? Somebody's fence. Wow, look at this building. I have never seen that one before. And the thing is there's a lot of modern day stuff in these hills, as there should be. I mean, it's a modern day country, right? Look at this. This is begging to be looked at. All right, we got a lot of people now. How many? We got 5 thumbs up, 5 people watching. I don't want to spend too much longer because I don't like the resolution. But I did want to meet with people live and give them a chance to connect with me. One of the other videos I'm going to do soon is this, what I call the donut. I did go here. I drove over here. I drove straight across. There's the road. I drove from this road, and I just turned right and drove towards it. And there was suddenly a road to follow. You know, eventually you'll see a small track, and you followed it. And we pulled in here, and boy, you wouldn't believe what I found right here. You wouldn't believe what's right there. And so then, that's an amazing thing. And then when you go in, I drove in. Of course, I couldn't drive across this. That's a farm. And then over here, we could drive and we could take a look. Now, this kind of goes up, and we just got a little glimpse of what it looked like. I think I got over here. I could be wrong. I think I got right here. But it was just a little glimpse of what is going on up there. It's really crazy stuff up there. Cactuses and stuff I'd never seen. It looked really busy, and I didn't have a lot of time, so I cut it loose. I should have gotten out and walked up here. I probably should have. That would have been a good idea. I was in a different state of mind at the time. Sometimes that happens. I don't even want to talk about this one. I don't want to talk about that. This is what I found on my flight home. I was flying home, and lo and behold, I saw these lines here, and I had to really work. I worked for like an hour to find this mountain, and these lines are just like the ones I showed you in South Africa, where they go across the middle of stuff. Whoops. In fact, they go right through here. And I don't know if I can find that without using the thing. We can try. Look at those lines. You have to ask yourself about that, right? But if you go to Utah, in fact, the way to get there, I can tell you, you go from LA straight through Las Vegas, and the straight line goes right up there. And if I'm not mistaken, it's right here. It took me a long time to figure it out, just because I didn't think I had gone that far. It's right around here, right there. Cedar Mountain had these weird lines coming out of it, and I was looking at those, and I thought, wow. And over here, East Cedar Mountain, I didn't even notice when I was flying, but these lines they look like they have been around a long time, because they're all broken apart by natural movement, natural tectonic movement in a way. But look at this place. But the weird thing is that these lines actually go all the way down, and they intersect with these other little mountains. And there's another one over here. Hold on, the one that I showed in the picture is way down here. Is that it? Okay, so this is kind of broken. I mean, it stops about here, and then the line starts over there. So if that really was connected, why does it go straight through the middle of the mountain? I don't want to say what that looks like, but I can show you a couple of other ones, and the line does the same thing. I mean, not that one, but a couple of other ones. These lines go down and across, and this one seems to go up and over a plateau. And look, you've even got yourself a broken guttural effect here in the U.S. I don't know if that was used as a road or something, but it seems to go right over. It's not very prominent, but at the same time, this looks old to me. It looks old. Like, these lines are not the same as the ones you see in Colorado, these giant dikes. Okay, so I'm looking at what is the deal? Maybe my quality is not as good. 720, let's try that. That actually looks better. That looks a lot better. That looks a lot better. Maybe I could handle 720p. Yeah, that's a lot better. So maybe your resolution wasn't so bad after all. Okay, so let's back to was this Atlantis? Yeah, so Cedar Mountain, if that's just part of it. Is Cedar Mountain in Utah? Where is Cedar Mountain at exactly? Let's find it. Is it in Utah? I think it's actually literally in Utah. And another thing in Utah over here, Maub, there's this river that I want to check out. They got this dome. I just showed you that picture. This is a real upheaval dome, right? But look at the lines you start to see along the edges. These cuts. And I can show you that later because I want to show a specific one. So that's Utah. That's in the middle of the richat. It's basically what that is, if you want to know, is this is something I drove past. You can see the picture of the name. And it's fenced off. It's a French fort that's totally disgusting. It was built in 1870. And you can click this. It's right there by the richat. You drive right past it. There's a road right there. Oops, I didn't mean to be looking at those messages. Sorry, that's a bad habit. Let's look at the next picture. Okay, so this is some road I found, and this is getting old. So this is right here, another example. I'll click on it. I don't have to, but if we go to Africa, is this Africa? if we go to Africa and we click on the richat structure, one of the places that I've been before, these canals, these parallel canals, I talked about that. And then I talked about the mountain I call it Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, even though he's not red-nosed. You got these cuts right here by the richat, and then you've got these cuts on the highest point. Okay, so honestly, this dark area, this fish, it looks like a fish maybe. It's not the whole head of the Rudolph, but just this area here. You can see these cuts, and you can see them here most prominently right there and here, and they go up into the mountain and kind of stop at the plateau. So somebody was doing some mining, and one of the things, and it's on the other side as well, you can find the cuts, and one of them, you can follow the cut all the way to the end of the nose. And look, that cut, so is it a cut or is it a road? Is this mountain unnatural? So I couldn't get over there because of my issues that I was having, but I can be honest with you, there's two of these. I do have a photo of that. It does have one of the eye of the Sahara eyes on the side there. That's the what do they call these flying eyes of the Sahara? You can thank Anthony Tunstall for that. And you can see a small one next to it. And the other one, not the other one, in the middle, there's also a little mound. And that's got one as well. Now I'm going to point this north so you can see the direction of that. That's a little off, actually, to me. Because if you look at these things, they're usually they're pointing above east or west. If this is west, this is pointing above west just a little bit. And so if you go to this next little one, the next little high spot, where did it go? Right here? It's not pointing above west, it's pointing below west. It's about 15 to 30 degrees off. And then over here, look at these shapes you start to see here. But in the middle of it all, you get yourself no flying eyes. I thought I saw a little one. But you got this cut going right through the mountain. So, yeah, oh my God, the Atlas Mountains. I have so many questions about the Atlas Mountains. Professional biologist, maybe I should go to Morocco next. But I'm just trying to show you, because somebody asked the question, what megalithic stuff does the richat structure have? It has a whole bunch. These parallel canals are no joke. And then you go to the top of Delius Manhattan, and just go to Morocco and start going through the mountains. I heard about some stories. I don't know. I think it's safe to an extent. These lines up on top of Manhattan are ancient and old and machined, and they go all the way across. This is called the White Valley. And over here, it's covered with sand more. And over here is where I was. It's all covered with sand. It's all machined. This doesn't look very machined right here. And sometimes I wonder if it got scrubbed, but then you start seeing these lines. Now, I couldn't just walk and drive all over this place. You had to walk. I mean, I had to climb over hills and stuff. So I still wonder about this whole area being more than just 15,000 years old. I'm thinking more like 150,000 years old, if not 1,000,000 years old. Because, I mean, when you see plateaus like this getting carved on the top, so carved that they go across, just like the ones at the plateau over here that has got the Rudolph on it. Those same cuts are here. But where's the rest of it? What happened here? It seems like they just changed everything. Was there a city on top of all this? Okay, let's go search it. I found a couple of cool things, but I don't want to just pull them up right now because I don't like to search live. But if we go to the Google Earth and we do a search for what you just said, it shows Spain, Argentina, Spain. It doesn't show Morocco. Farmland. What's this? Okay, let me just reread it all. I think that the Atlas Mountains were part of the whole thing. You know, it's kind of weird that Herodotus didn't say Atlantis with Atlas because he hadn't heard of it yet. He didn't talk to Solon. He only wrote it as a landmark. It's in a city in Morocco. No, I'll just type in Morocco. Hold on. Did we find anything? What happened? What happened? It didn't work out. What happened? This is irritating. Come on. MORROC. Then now it's giving me Switzerland. I know I spelled it wrong. I always put two R's in. I shouldn't. Let me just fix that. Okay, there you go. No. Zeus. The word Zeus. We got Zeus and then. Well, you're probably talking about the place I want to go already. Oh, I just chose one of those. That's next to the coast. Okay, that's one of them. Where's the other one? Places. That's a sports complex, I guess. What happened? Can I search again and find those other two locations? The problem is they never do have the old ones, right? I thought that I thought that okay, well, that's interesting. I'll look into that. That's interesting. Actually, you know what? I think I want to take a screenshot of that. Noah's son in the Bible, and the reason why is I just got this cool new book. I'm just grabbing your comment so I can look at it for later. You said Japetus, who was Noah's son in the Bible, and the big question is okay? Well, what about Poseidon? And I'm just saving that. And I'll show you the reason why. The reason why was just I just got this cool wall chart book. I don't know if you can see that. Where's where's the light? Yeah, there you go. I just bought this thing. This thing's got a lot of Bible references in mainstream overlap. So and Noah's on there, and I'll take a look. In fact, I'll read it right now. We'll see what it's because you said Noah's. You said it's Noah's. Um, let's see here. This book here says. I don't think you can see it. Can I just take it off the thing? Let's just see if I can just remove this. And maybe let's put a light on it too while we're at it. Boom. Is that going to be a problem? That's a problem. Let me turn that off. I mean, I can just show you here. It shows this book here. Like I said, it's the wall chart of world history with the twist of having the Bible in it. Let me just turn that off. I don't think it's needed. See, we don't need that. So then we go over to this timeline that starts up here. And it starts with Adam and Eve in 4000, right? But then you quickly get to, here's Enoch 1. That's the grandfather of Noah, right? That's what I always thought. But then we have another Enoch here. And another Enoch. I guess Adam's still alive. Because he's right there. That's the death of Adam. And then we've got, what does this say? Noah's here, right? So if we take Noah and we go back, then his father was Lamech. And then whoever is attached to this red line, which is here, it says Methalusa. I can open that up so we can follow it. It's kind of difficult. It's a really long piece of paper. It's very long. The whole book is one strip. I was going to do a whole video on this once I studied it. Because I don't want to start going into that. So I just put that away. But yeah, it's kind of interesting when you brought that up. So I took that screenshot so I can remember that name. But what's your reference for that, right? What's the reference? That's the next question. This live stream's going pretty damn well, huh? Now, if I just get some better lighting going on in here, then I can actually get some stuff done. So, think this through. Noah's son Japheth is Japtius. Japtius had 10 sons in the Greek mythology. Okay, so what that says is I'm going to have to screenshot that as well. I'm open for everything. I'm not gonna put a gun to my head and make any decisions. So I'm just saving that. Even though sometimes it's difficult to look these things up again, it's nice to have a reference. I don't have to go to the video. All right, what's the next thing I wanted to show? Heat damage. Yeah, heat damage would be the vitrification of all the rocks. And you know, they say white, red, black was the color of the rocks. But what I do want to mention is, let me see if I can get a picture. Because see, this type of pattern is all over the desert floor. And it's definitely not natural, right? You're not going to have a geologist talking about how that's formed. I don't see that happening, right? I don't see that happening. And there's a couple more of these lines, if I can zoom in on that. And that's very close to where I showed you already. These lines are like just too straight, right? And they just don't make sense anymore. Look at this stuff. I mean, what the heck is this thing? Is that a road cutting through? Being done before or after the cuts? Or I have no idea. You know, there's no way I can tell you. And it goes on and on and on for hundreds of square miles. And then later on it turns into this. Later on it turns like this. And yeah, these rocks turn black. And if you say heat damage, okay, what makes it black? Something with soot, something with combustion. You see the red. Okay, so I want to show you an example. Let me find a picture. Let me find a picture that I took, if I can find it. Shot images. Okay, we're getting closer. I got a bunch of pictures here, and I don't like to go. Who's that? Some lady? I don't know where she came from. I got to get the picture of the red rock, and okay. So yeah, let's look at this old picture. I took this picture a long time ago, not this trip. But what you see is a white rock that breaks. And then the surface seems to turn red from probably water and an iron oxide effect from the water. Like there must be some iron that creates oxidation that turns it red. So the middle of the rock is white, but then you've got these black ones. And I'm not going to say that this is not clear enough. Let me see if I can find a clearer picture. You got the black ones that I think were affected by some type of a combustion. So you've got white, you've got you say red, but it's more of a Mojave red, like a clay red. It's like an iron oxide red. That's not a very good shot. But when you, speaking of shots, I just happened to see that stupid fort. This is that Spanish fort that was built in 1870. Somebody else's picture, not mine. And you can see, like, this thing was just totally dilapidated. Kind of gross. What do you think that is on the top? Some rock? So they probably piled up a bunch of rocks. This is the entire shot from outside the third ring. I found a good shot of that, because there's always something. Okay, now this picture, and I got to be careful. I don't like hopping around. Oh yeah, I definitely can't be hopping around. I see this one picture that I definitely can't. Oh my God, how'd that get in there? Came from Reddit. Now these are the two mountains I showed you already. Let me go back to those. Let me close that. Let me close this. Oh wait, I just closed the one I want to show you. If we go back to those mountains in the richat structure right here, and I guess we're too close. There we go. The one that has the line through it. I did take a nice picture of that right here, and you can see that this mountain is connected to the plateau. The plateau that's out there, I wonder if this is bigger. That's a little bit bigger. The plateau is actually higher than the mountain. So this is the highest point in the richat structure. In the Adrar Mountains outside the richat. I'm just trying to find the original picture that I took. There's one other picture I took that shows these two mountains up against the highest point. And you can see that pretty clearly. The highest point is where all that carving was done. Okay, we got a lot of open pictures. I always thought the picture just open on top. So this is not the highest point. Let's go to Google Earth and let's go back to it. That's the U.S. Here we are. And of course, I'm talking about this. This is Atar. This is the richat. And right between Atar and Chinguetti is this here. And you can see the darker area is the top. And that's been affected by the sun the most. Is it dark and black because of some combustion? I don't know. But when you look at it from the side, and these pictures that I showed you over here, if I can, come on, pull it up. Come on. That looks really symmetrical, but when you look at it from the top, you don't see that. You can't see the line going through it. You wonder, is that little right there? Is that where the line is right there? And then you got a line going through this one. So there's lines going through both of them. The question is how is that natural, especially if it penetrates the mountain to such an extent? Well, in regular geology, they call that a dike, right? They call that a volcanic dike. Okay, I'm trying to see all the comments. I'm getting a lot of yes. What? Did you see evidence of heat damage? Yeah, like I said, the rocks that are black, I think got. Well, if it's glassy, it gets vitrified. I think that was some type of a major event, just like you see in some of the videos of Peru, some of the stones that Brian Forrester shows that are glassy and vitrified, and I guess you see that in Egypt as well. Some type of event happened. Okay, I'm trying to get a good shot here. I'm just trying to read your comments. Not a very good video. I wish that I could get it more straight. Like I said, I probably won't do this unless I can get a better camera. Maybe I can try to use the GoPro, but that doesn't live stream. Maybe a new phone would do it better. Maybe there's a setting for TV. I can zoom in though. But all I'm saying is that this mountain was so close, and the reason why we didn't go is because we didn't bring the truck that had the gas in it. It was just irritating. I don't want to get into that. Okay, so Lixus, Morocco. It's interesting you say Lixus. With a temple to Baal Zeus. Lixus, Morocco. Let's go. Let's go there. Where? Lixus. See these cuts? They're so prominent here. And then there's more there. And yeah, they're not... Okay, here's something you can see about the cuts. Because you think, oh, does that cut... That cut is not the same as that cut, right? You see two cuts, but this seems to start here and then keep going. This seems to start here and go that way, and there's no cut next to it. And you see the same thing happening here where there's a gap. It gaps down. Now, that's just an artifact, that shadow. But when you look at the way these cuts are parallel, like really super parallel, some type of a machine was like, okay, we're going to move it over. And then you get a turning one this way, and that's also parallel, but it's a 45-degree angle, right? Maybe not 45, but almost 45, between 30 and 40. All right, that one, we'll probably use another one. Yeah, here we are. Let's put it here. And see if we can find that temple you mentioned. Oh, archaeological site of Lixus. What's up with this thing? It's not crooked on my phone. Let's try that right there. But at the same time, maybe if I got right in front of it, I got a tripod. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, that's very nice. Thanks for showing me this. You can see these ancient buildings. This is north. Let's go north. It's not letting me. Don't tell me this is way off. What's going on here? Oh my gosh. Let's try that. I feel like I'm going crazy. Yeah, I can agree with that. And when you say Atlanteans, well, I'm going to have to go over what you wrote. Archaeological site of Lixus. Well, you know where I'm at, though? Let me just tell you, I am not surprised. I want to see more about these lines. What is going on here? And are those megalithic? And why would they do that? Why would these roads be like this? Who would do that? Who would do that? Why are these like this? Are those walls? Are those walls? What is up with all that? Like, is that new or is that old? And they always give it the tag wildlife park, but what is going on here with these lines? It's like they're trying to. I guess they're. That's just bizarre, but it looks like it has something to do with what do you call it? Wetlands. What's going on there? That's obviously modern day. I mean, when you see this thing, what is that? It's a road. How it must be older than when you see these rivers going through. They replace the road, and they're going up there along with it. I guess what I feel like we're seeing is part of a canal system. But why would they? I mean, okay, so the modern day river is younger than those lines, right? You wouldn't have the modern day river penetrating these without, you know, being. Okay, so it looks to me, I don't know what to say about that. You don't see a break there, but it goes through there. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the modern day river is younger than those lines. So you got to do a thought experiment about that. You see these rivers going underneath them. I don't know. And why they would build that and how they would build it. I mean, come on. This is a highway here. So when you see these big things here, there must be some weird event. I don't even want to call that a canal system. I think that's more agricultural than canal. I mean, it looks like the water is supposed to cut through, then over here, and then back over here to get through there. So it seems like there might be some function for water to slowly go through and water stuff. Maybe those were lakes. I mean, here you can see that's happening. It cut is open here, here, and over here it's the opposite. So as far as that being modern day, I have. Let's see if we have any. This is Morocco, right? So we can actually see if we have any street view. We don't have a street view. Yeah, and so the wildlife park has those same lines that are over here. Oh yeah, I obviously got caught up in those weird lines. Look over here, you have a bunch of. That's solar. Is that solar? No, those are like tents. All right, where's that mountain again? The top of the mountain? The actual real reason we came here for? Where was that? I got lost now. Oh, there it is, right here. The archaeological site of Lixus. And then you've got a couple of other things I saw over here that looked quite interesting. Some tombs. The tomb of Sidi Mubarak. Okay, that's not that old. Whatever. Just a dude, right? A school. Okay. Yeah, that's very curious. Very curious indeed. And I back away from it and see if you can see any ancient lines, because that's the thing I'm always looking for. I was looking out the window of the airplane. That's how I found Mount Cedar. It looks like this is an older mountain over here. In fact, you can probably see something like look at this line here coming through here. Was that a river? All right, did I lose track of everything? It's probably a good time to end this soon, but I just wanted to say that there's a lot of stuff that I didn't get to do. There's a lot of weird, strange lines in Africa that are, and these things we call these things quarries. That right there, I just can't see how that would have naturally formed. There's some other examples. I'll go to one right now that I think is crazy. It's right out here. You can find it by looking at that white spot there, right? I think that's it. I could be wrong. First, let me go north-south. So I'm okay. So that spot there, that white spot, I'm pretty sure right out there is the thing right there. Yeah. Let's do it one more time so you can find it yourself. So if you're looking at the richat and you go directly north, you have this thing that is got a name, but outside of it's El Bayed. And if you go over, you can see a couple of prominent white spots, one there, one here. This one right here, as you get closer to it, you go, oh, look at those cuts. Not cuts, okay. This is the Adrar Plateau, but then you go off the plateau on the north side, and across there you start to see quarries galore. And even Randall Carlson says these have been quarried for hundreds of thousands of years. Okay, so with that in mind, who could have made this one so beautiful? Who could have made this one so pretty? And I'd like to see the name for that. Let's go to Google Maps and see if that has a name. Because Google Maps puts some names on some stuff that you don't really get from just everywhere. You can go there first, and then we can click on that, and then we can zoom in. It's right there. Any names pop up? And the other thing about this is you've got, we'll go in and find it. Right here is the thing. I mean, to me, this is like artwork. This is not just quarrying anymore. There's a purpose for doing that. What was the purpose? Is it to take stones out of there? Then why are the stones so beautiful? And right next to it is these straight lines. You can see the cuts. And I can show you examples of this ground with cuts, but it hasn't eroded away. So some places get more water than others. Okay, well, I'm glad that the 6 of you that are here has a house here. There probably could have been anything there. Maybe it was a city. Maybe these things were foundations for things built on top of them, like cities. I personally don't really think so. I have a big question about it because when you look at the ones inside the richat structure, and I'll show those to you right now, they're very easy to find. I was so close to one of them when I went to... Okay, where are we? Oh, it's out here. I went here, right? I was here. I drove my truck right there to look at this thing. This is a terrible... I think they took a new picture. This is horrible. What is this? This is this is Google Maps. Okay. So let's go back to Google Earth. Google Earth is a little clearer. And change it to north. And then go over here where I went, which was right here. And you can see the foundation called Fortress... Oh, what is it? This is changed too? Oh my gosh, this really did get a new picture. Yeah, this is not like the old pictures. They've totally messed it up by using a new photograph. And that photograph or that image is terrible. We got to go back to the old one. You're going to have to look at the timeline. But if you go in here, that's it right there. It's so terrible now. You can't even see it. This has been recently updated with lower quality shots. And look, if this was like this, I would have never had an interest in it. I developed an interest in the richat because of that item. I went there because I wanted to know what was going on. If I had seen this, I would have been like, what is that? I don't really see anything. So you have to go to alternatives like Google. This one is called satellites.pro, and use satellites.pro for some of this because this is ridiculous. Let's go in here and see what we can see. This is a lot better. It's a lot clearer. You can still see it, and you can zoom into it and say, what the F is that thing? And I know what it is now. It's called Fortress 4, and then there's another one down here, which is called right there. It's called Fortress 5. That's where the road is, right? But I actually was on the road, and I didn't even see this until I went up there and saw this one, and because I was using the GPS. But what I didn't realize is right over here, about a mile away, is one of the biggest quarries in the richat. All right? So what's that doing there? And was it there 12,900 years ago? Now, is that... where's the plateau on this? If you go back over here, we can... Let's move this over here so I don't get mixed up anymore. So this is disgusting, right? But what I really want to know is is the plateau higher? It looks like this is the plateau, right? So when you go over to this one and you look at it, you can see that this is a cliff and that's a river or a lower area. This is the escarpment. And up on the top, you can see there was some type of a quarrying action. This is as close as I can get. But you can see a lot of man-made lines that look like they were removing rocks. And from what I understand, for hundreds and thousands of years. Go into this one, and you see some similar activity. Okay, this is one of the highest points in the richat. If you go over to the topographical map, which is right here, and you get the richat, I'm not going to waste time with this. I'm going to just go to the United States. And they say US, but it puts you into the whole world. So that's fine. And you zoom into this area. And you look at the heights. You can see that the places that had the so-called quarries on them, and let me just change the imagery on the back. See, you can see the place I went, which is right there. And you can see the quarries right next to them. They're in the red, right? So they're high. They're 16, it says 1,600, 1,500 feet high. This is as high as we're going to get. And then I would say that either this whole area was changed since the cataclysmic event. But the question I have is, was that there? I don't believe that Atlantis would have a quarry on their island. So this makes me partially non-richat. Team richat is barely hanging on with me sometimes because of this. So I'm going to finish up. Okay, you say 1800s for the quarrying? But Randall Carlson says hundreds and thousands of years. So, what is this? Abandoned canal system? I find it here too. I'm missing your comments. I don't know what you're referring to. Where was the house? You're saying the house was up here? Let's go over there and see if we can see any shapes up here. We better zoom out a little bit. This place here. Is that it right there? You can't get any closer. There it is right there. So it doesn't have any variation in its heights. Oh yeah, those are these rocks right here. Well, if it were a house, the walls would have been very close together. And everything. And by the way, this one is crazy. You know, I just don't understand. How did lines like this get put into the ground on a natural way? It's just not true. I don't believe it. I mean, these lines. This is north-south, if I'm not mistaken. This picture has been orientated north-south. It wasn't changed. I could be wrong, though. So these are the next step here. It's not just about Atlantis anymore. If this is the next step to find out what all this mining was about. Check out the video called Mined Earth. I like that series. That guy was kind of an amateur about it. Well, look, when you say America is Atlantis, I believe what your meaning is that it was an active civilization that was a flourishing civilization that changed North and South Island. Okay, well, you guys talk about that you guys discuss on your own. Let's see here. I think it was all a city. Everything, North Africa. I mean, everything that I see shows there was something going on that's so big. I mean, so big that, I mean, look at this rectangle, 1,000 yards wide. And these mountains, these were put down in Namibia. And these mountains, somebody had the ability to put mountains in a line. Same place, Namibia, cut lines right out of the river. I don't know what they were doing there. Looking for gold. That's that place in Cedar Mountain. This one, I thought this was Morocco because Morocco does have a lot of stuff. Let's find out what this is again. I guess it's in that same place in Bolivia, Peru. This thing to me, I just don't see how that was created. And I did put that in my I put that in was this Atlantis a long time ago. But I put it again because there's a lot of other stuff going on over here that I just didn't see how it could be considered natural. I mean, are these mountains starting here, or are they going underneath the floodplain? You kind of see them happen over here a little bit. But this is all in the same place I showed you before in South America. So I personally think that this mountain is suspect. The way it cuts, yeah, in Morocco there's some mountains very similar to that. And I'll show you those mountains because I want to know, what created these mountains geologically. You just have too many of them. They're going crazy over here. In fact, they're going so crazy, I would say they have to be natural, right? There's no way. But one thing that I just don't understand is right here, how that is possible. How is this possible? You have a mountain that's one line. Wait a minute. Let's start it. Where does it start? Okay, so this is separate. That's another line right here. And that line goes here, and it comes over here. And it cuts back. And it seems to ignore this and cuts this. And so that's one line. And then you've got this mountain. And if we can find the first part of it, let's follow it. This one right here, it seems to cut and come back right there. So you've got this line goes up way up here, comes down back this way. I don't know where it's going on here. Oops. I don't know where it starts. But you've got these mountains that are like, I don't know where the start is. And then you've got these weird zigzags up here. Now that I think is natural to an extent, but you've got that going up. Remember, this is looking straight down, but it seems to be going uphill. It looks like it's been cut as well, right? But so if I just saw this, I'd say, oh, that's natural. But then I've been exposed to the stuff I've seen down near the richat and around the richat, and it's like that's not natural. So that's a world of it is a world of possibilities, isn't it, Matt Dillon? And I think I'm going to get out of here just because I've been talking for over an hour, and I'm actually talking about some of the same stuff that I've talked about before. But yeah, you should see some stuff that Anthony Tunstall is showing in if I could find it by looking at this. I went there a couple times. There are these canots, and they take water. This canot system that Anthony was showing was just crazy. I think it's around here somewhere. And there's so many holes, and that's supposed to be an ancient structure, but has it been done in the last 10,000 years? That's the question. And that gets to the point where I just believe that some of these mountains have been created in our Earth. Some things are not natural. But that's all I have to talk about at this point in time. Let's see if we can find some nice outro music, and then I'll turn this thing off. Where's that music at? Let's try this one. Where's my speaker? Oh, my speaker goes off. I don't have one.
Power on. Bluetooth.
There we go.
Bluetooth connected.
Is that boring? Y'all have a good day. If you have any comments, don't hesitate to leave them down below. I got a lot of time on my hands. I've been hanging out in the undisclosed location, and I need to get back into it. I'm working hard on that one video I promised. Check out my shorts if you don't know the one I'm talking about that shows that crater. And then I got a couple of other videos, including the one of Wadan, and I'll get some more for you soon. talk again soon. Thanks, bye.